Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm T with Teresa H Creates, and today we're going to finish up part 2 of this treasure journal. So in part 1, and I'll link it below, in part 1 we took a Pantene box. It was a Pantene shampoo box, and cut it up to make the cover of our journal. We used some paper to cover and some fabric washi tape for the spine. We used elastics. We attached eyelets. We did some collage here, some collage work, and now we are ready to do signatures. So off camera, I have prepared papers. So I pulled together some papers. Let me give you a sample of the papers that I have. So just some book pages. These are from the little journal notebooks that I picked up in a haul recently from the Delusions, the dialogues. Let me see if I can find. Here we go. In a recent haul, I got these dialogue insert books from Delusions, and I took them apart. And so some of them have these handwriting lines. I had some of the black backgrounds. I didn't use any of the backgrounds. Ruled, grid, and then blank. And so I took them apart, and I'm using the inserts in my junk journal. And I didn't use the backgrounds because I'm really trying to keep it pretty neutral. Like I want the handmade cards to shine. And if you don't remember, I had a basket of handmade cards from friends and family, and I wanted to put them somewhere where they could be displayed and I could cherish them and look at them and remember them instead of being shoved in this basket and put on a shelf. And so that's why I'm putting together this treasure journal so that I can look through these. And so I really wanted them to shine, the cards themselves, and so that's why I'm using kind of fairly neutral type backgrounds. And so I didn't use those particular backgrounds, but just wanted to let you know that's where some of those inserts came from. So this is the black, and then this is the lined, and then I have this kind of a turn of the century here paper from a book, and then some music paper, and then these are some printables that I had from an old junk journal that I had done, and they were left over, and so I'm using those. And I folded them both ways with the printed. They're not double-sided, they're just single-sided, so I did go ahead and ink the edges of them to give them a little distress, and I just used the distressed walnut stain for that. And then some of them I turned with the printed side out, and some of them I turned with the printed side in. Some of these I used my cutting edge, let me see, the tearing edge ruler to tear the edges of those. So they're a little bit wonky. I don't like them all to be the same size. This is another printable. This is one of those artist papers I got from the inside of a magazine, but it was a nice neutral kind of a background, and so I used that. I've got some magazine pages here, some florals. And then I have this parchment paper that I had sprayed with, and I want to say this is Rusty Hinge Ground Espresso Distress ink sprays. And then I also used, I don't know if you can see a little bit of that shine, but I also used some of the mica sprays. And it was one of the specials that came out, the Tim Holtz specials that came out for Halloween, one of the special lines. So I think it was Crooked Broomstick. And so it's got that nice shine. And so it's sprayed front and back. And I did 4 of these because I wanted to use these as the covers for each signature. So I have 4 signatures, and I wanted it to be the front page of each signature when you're going through the book, so you know you've reached the next one. And so now, oh, and then I also went through the cards that I had, and I pulled out the cards that I wasn't going to cut up. So these are larger cards that I'm not going to cut up and put in. And they also, a lot of these were cards that had very personal notes that I wanted to keep. This one does not. This one actually had an insert, but this was my little one. Apparently she got a hold of it at some point and colored the inside for me. I greatly appreciate that. But the card that was sent originally had just a sheet of paper inside so it could be reused, upcycled, but obviously I kept it, and I no longer have the note. Hopefully I'll find it at some point, but it's so pretty on the outside, I didn't want to cut it up. So I'm actually going to work these into actual pages of the signature. And so let me show you how I put together one of these signatures. So this is nice and sturdy. And then let's see, let's go book page. I can do an outside insert. Oh, you know what? I think I want to do one of these cards up at the front. Let's do one of these cards at the front. So I'm going to do that. Okay. And then this is perfect. So there's not really, for me, there's no rhyme or reason. I just don't want like pages together, I guess. Let's do some of this black that's pretty next to that. And then what would look nice? I don't want to do a lot of the like pages so it's same right next to each other. So that's why I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. Here, let's use this guy. A little bit of this torn edge. Use that ruled page. Okay. And then this insert. And I want to say each one of these, not including cards. And then here are two more of my cards. So let's see. This one had a beautiful note in it. And so I wanted to use it in the very center of my signature. So I'm going to put that there. I love that. And then let me find another spot up there. I think that would be pretty there. Okay, so that is one signature, and I believe I had 13 pages. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so I had 13 pages in my signature from all of the pages that I pulled together, and then I added 3 cards, so there are 16 total in this one signature. And so what I did was, once I pulled the papers together, I went ahead and measured to see. So I'm going to go just below the to see how long are the length of these papers. So I had just below the eyelets, I've got my ruler, and then just below here, so it was about 7 inches. And the book itself is about 8, so that's about right. So I cut everything down to the length of 7 inches. And then here, so from the spine over, it was about 5.5 almost. So I did 5 1/4. So all of these signature pages were cut down to, that were wider, were cut down to 7 and 5 1/4. And obviously I'm going to have some that are longer. That doesn't bother me. I'm not going to cut down these cards. I don't mind if stuff sticks out on the edges. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. I just wanted the bases of this, the signature pages themselves, to either be shorter or no longer than 7 and 5 1/4. So this is one signature, and then how you would put it in is find the center and then just pop it right in. And that is it. And so we will have 4 of them, and I've put together some more of these off camera and actually started decorating them. So I do have 4 signatures total, and I'm going to finish decorating these. Let me go ahead and pop them in. Let me find the center of this one. And I tried to find a nice card that I could use at the center of each of these that had some writing and a bit of a personal note, so that it had, you know, some continuity. Have the nice outer base, and then a nice note in the center. Where are we? I'm missing the center of this. I am. Okay. I don't have one yet for this one. I hope that these are the right direction. Yes, okay. And And then this one has a lovely card. Let me pull this down here so you can see. And so this is what it looks like so far. And it is, I told you this was going to be a chunky girl. And yeah, she is so far. I will have to find a way to close it up, and I'm still not done. So I'm still decorating these pages. The one thing that I did add to one of these is, let me see, that I did want to show you. Okay, I had this paper bag because I found that I had a couple of cards that were so large, and I couldn't and didn't want to cut them down. And so I found this paper bag. Let me go ahead and pull it out. And it was folded up. It was just a little bit longer than the 5 1/4. I believe it was like 5 1/2 exactly, but that didn't concern me at all. But it was a little bit longer. So what I did was I cut it down to 7. And I went ahead and I glued this open edge so that there was a pocket here. And I used the circle rounder, the circle punch, to cut the little tab out here. And then here, I cut another tab. This is really thin paper, so it didn't do exactly, but you get the idea. And then I left this open at the top so there was a pocket here. So that way I could put some of these cards maybe that were a little bit larger in here. And like I said, I don't mind if they come out of the top a little bit or the sides. I don't mind if the cards themselves are a little bit bigger. I just wanted the bases to work. So that does not bother me, that it could potentially, and it looks like it fits in fine. But like I said, I still have more. So I think that this last signature, I hadn't actually glued anything down in it yet. So let me go ahead and pull it out and we will get to decorating. And that is the center. So off camera, I sorted through the cards, and these cards that didn't have any real sentiments or notes or messages on the inside, I went ahead and just cut them down so that I could glue them on as a solid piece to decorate. And then some of these that did have nice sentiments, they are still, that I wanted to keep the memories and cherish those notes. I did keep the actual card intact. So I have several of these, and let's see. Nope. I like this. Get inspired. All right, I had to think about it before I committed. And then the nice thing about some of these cards is that the insides are also blank, so it gives me a place to put other items. I think this would look nice here. And I'm alternating between using my tape runner is done. So I won't be alternating between using my tape runner. That one is done. And I will just use, I'll go back to using the glue. My glue stick, and I do have the, also have my wet glue, my art glitter glue that I can use for this. Okay. And then just looking for things that are kind of similar. That is cute. That would look cute there. Okay. My, the vast majority of these cards were made by my Aunt Beverly, and going back and looking at these covers and reading these, absolutely cracked me up. She is my great aunt. She is my, my grandmother's sister, and we absolutely love her. So she doesn't have any children. So we're all her children. And she was just a free spirit, a very smart and talented woman, worked in a male-dominated field for the longest time, and just doesn't really have a filter, so you never know what Aunt Beverly is going to say. And then this is an old picture, but it says, "You had me at will make it look like an accident." So that's kind of her personality, which cracks me up. So I love seeing a lot of these cards from her because they perfectly fit her personality. And so they were giving me a good laugh while I was going through and sorting these. I think these little guys look pretty together on opposite pages. And so this has really been a lot of fun. And this, and then this is kind of just the idea of having a junk journal period. There are no rules. You can do whatever you want. You make it out of whatever material you have on hand, whether it's bits of chipboard or it's boxes, spaghetti boxes, macaroni boxes, whatever boxes. You make it out of what you have on hand, and it's you make it whatever size you want. It can be large, it could be small, and that's the beauty of it. And this one doesn't have all the fancy tucks and flips and pockets that would normally be in a junk journal, because the purpose of this is so different. So you can have a lot of different purposes for making a junk journal. A lot of people use it to actually journal their goals and to keep checklists in. Some people it's for memories, like me. This is just kind of documenting these memories and having them here where I can cherish. This is really thick, so I wanted to use that glue, make sure it's stayed. For documenting family memories, let's see. Again, just no rules. You do what you want, and you make it your own. And so if you are a seasoned crafter like myself, it's great to take a lot of these old bits that you have and put them together somewhere and give them new purpose. If you are a new crafter, don't let junk journals intimidate you. They are so much fun. They're so much fun. And they're a great learning experience. And I know that this looks really crooked. It took me a minute. This page is actually crooked. So it flares up. Do you see that? And it took me a minute because I was having the hardest time with that. And I thought my eyes had gone a little wonky or something when I was cutting those down. And I think that was the only one from that collection that actually did that. So it was, it was throwing me a bit. My Aunt Beverly likes to use a lot of embellishments. So this girl is going to be pretty chunky. Pretty chunky. And she's a little big for that, which isn't a problem. I think I'm just going to leave that one for now. Let me see. I think this will look pretty opposite that page. So yeah, once all these cards are in here, this is going to be really chunky. Okay. I feel like you guys have the idea of what it is that I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to set this aside and let this signature kind of dry. And I don't want to lose these pieces. I don't want them sliding out. So I was kind of clipping them just to kind of keep it together. So if I picked it up, it didn't all just come falling out since they're all different sizes and everything. And then something I would like to do is move on to decorating our cover. So, and I've got, do you see this? I've got these bits of string everywhere. So a lot of the cards came with string wrapped around them. And for whatever reason, my family has this infatuation with this eyelash ribbon. And so every time I cut it, these little strings would be everywhere. I don't actually have any in my space, but they are everywhere. I think I will be finding them for the rest of my life here in the studio because it is just, look, I picked that up and these strings are everywhere. So it has become my nemesis. Now I know why I don't have any of that eyelash ribbon in my studio. And let's move on to the cover. So this is what I'm thinking. I have a couple of pieces. So I pulled out some stuff from this collection. The washi tape that I ended up using here was from 49 and Market, and I think it was called Plum Grove, the collection itself. And so I decided to pull together some other bits and pieces that I have from that collection. And I found this little piece of ephemera that says family. And then there are all these beautiful laser cuts, and they're not white on the other side. They're kind of that plum color. But I thought, what if I use this to kind of decorate up the edges of that and then find something pretty to go in that center piece, or just leave it. I don't know. I also have these gorgeous rub-ons. So what if I did a rub-on in the center, put that family up there, and then decorated it? Okay, that's what we're going to do. That is what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this because that's what we're going to be working with. I am 100% sure I'm going to be inking the edges of something, so I'm going to pull out my parchment paper. And then this is the front page. So let's kind of get that situated. And let me see. All right, don't lose that. Yeah, keep that weighted down. All right, rub-ons, and these are gorgeous. Gorgeous. Oh, you know what I should do? Okay. Let me put this guy back in, and then I'm going to lightly do a little circle with my pencil, if I can find my pencil, so that I know when I'm doing this, when I'm working this rub-on, exactly where to put it so that it will be seen. And I can't find my pencil. If you guys could see the other part of my desk, it is an absolute disaster. Which is what happens when you're creating. Okay. Found my pencil. And I don't want this to be so dark you see it, but I can erase it later. Okay. And there we go. Perfection. All right. Thinking on the fly. This is what happens when there's no plan and you're coming up with this on the fly. But I wanted you to see kind of the creative process, how this goes when you're working through these things. So let's see. What would be absolutely gorgeous? I'm kind of, let me see. I want to put that family. I'm kind of liking this. I'm kind of liking this. This is gorgeous. Okay. I think I'm going to use this guy here. All right, let me go ahead and just kind of cut around it and isolate it a little bit if I can so that I'm not using up this whole page. So I can get all of the bits and pieces in here. So if you haven't used rub-ons recently, these are absolutely gorgeous. These are not your grandmother's rub-ons. So when I got into paper crafting, probably about 20 years ago, it was really popular to use rub-ons on little wooden plaques and things to kind of create decor and for your home. And a lot of it was very kind of a primitive or a kitschy country kind of stuff. You'd have all these morning glories, vines, and whatnot. And that was what was really popular. But this is a very different kind of rub-on. Rub-ons have I don't know if they necessarily went away, but I know that they've become more popular recently. And I kind of want this because we're going to put stuff around, I think, the bottom edge here. So I kind of wanted a little bit more up here without losing that butterfly there. So I'm going to start burnishing it so that it starts to lay down. And hopefully those inks don't interfere with it attaching. So you give it a good burnish. This is the tool that was provided. And like I said, I hope that the inks that I applied beforehand, those mica sprays and stuff, don't interfere with it being able to adhere to this page. Anyhow, I've noticed that a lot of the companies are now supplying rub-ons, and these are absolutely gorgeous rub-ons. I mean, look at how beautiful that one page was that I just showed you. And this is great for journaling, for scrapbooking, for card making, for all of it. It's a nice way to add a lot of beauty, a lot more detail, and not add a lot of dimension, especially if you're going to be mailing them, because I know it's expensive to mail stuff these days with a lot of embellishments on them and stuff. The post office has gotten really particular about that, which makes me wonder, my Aunt Beverly must have spent a small fortune in postage mailing all of those cards, because she has so much embellishment on all of her cards. So I'm going to test it, start lifting, and see if it's going to come away. Nope, that one's not quite. So as you're lifting it slowly, if you notice that it's not staying to the page and it's coming up with the actual screen, you just pop it right back down and give it another burnish. And you can tell in some areas when it's good, because it'll get a little cloudy. So far, so good. Let's start coming from this direction. Look at that large image attached nicely. Look at that. It's coming up on its own. There we go. How gorgeous is that? So we already had all that detail in the background, and now we've got all that lovely detail there. Oh, how beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. All right. So a little bit of this still attached here on the side. I'm just going to give it a little trim off. Okay. And then here is my family. And I'm going to ink it up a little bit because it's what I do. So there's my walnut stain. I think I ended up with more ink on this parchment paper than I did on anything else. It really soaked it up. Okay. That has been inked. I'm going to keep this handy because I know that once I select these other items that I'm going to want to ink them as well. All right. So let's pull this guy back in here. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay. And then let me just kind of set this guy here to keep it straight. Okay. And I have one of those lovely book weights, but I don't know. It's in something else and I don't have time to get it out, but they do make something for that. So what are we thinking? A little higher, maybe? Maybe like that. There are tons of options. Let me find the opening. It's down here. And this laser cuts. Okay, let me kind of move this so you can see the corner. Let me take a drink. I need a drink. Put some twigs, and I can always cut this down a little bit. Do we like the twigs or do we want something more solid? Okay, I kind of like that, but I also kind of like something a little twiggy. Nope. I feel like something is needed up here. Maybe this is what I need up here. Okay, not bad, not bad. I don't know why I'm trying to force something in there. That just looks like a lot of space. And I kind of want something in there. What do you think? What do you think? Let me see. What if I did this? So that that looks like it's a continuation. There we go. Of that whole arrangement. And then I did kind of like this over here. And do we want family in there or do we want family across here? I think we want family across here. Okay. So I am going to ink up those edges and attach it. And I didn't want this, my first video was really long and I didn't want this one to be too long. You don't need to see me ink up these edges and attach this. So I'm going to move this to the side now that I've got my pieces. There was one other thing I did want to show you that I plan on doing with this journal is I wanted to add something to the binding and I kind of wanted to pull these together. And so I thought maybe a button. So let me pull up my button box. I'm telling you, it is going to come crashing down at any minute. All of it. Okay. So here is my button box. I want to find a button to put on. So I'm looking for something rather large because that spine is large. And I'm looking for something with just 2 holes, not the blue. No, that's got 4. So many buttons. Large buttons. That's the same button. There's a nice black. Oh. That one's different. Let's see what else I've got. Got this guy. I don't know if that will work. So many buttons. And I've got that guy. Okay. Put my buttons aside. I think I've got enough options. Okay. So the idea is, let me take this guy out. He is rather large and in charge, and a lot of those insides are coming out, so I need to see here. I'm going to do this with it. So I've got an extra piece of this elastic, and what I was thinking is that I would attach it here. Yeah, let's pull that out. Is that I would attach it inside here and then run these ends through that button and tie it off. And in theory, that sounds fantastic, right? Sounds like it would work. Okay. So let's see. This is very cumbersome. I really like this. It's not as big as I had hoped, but I think it fits. Okay, those are nose. These darker ones. I don't care for those. That one's kind of ugly. Look, so I love this finish on this side. I mean, I guess I could turn it around and use that side, right? This is the actual side up, but I don't care for that white paint that's on it. And that is pretty. I wish this was a little bit bigger, but I still think that it is really pretty. What if I doubled it up? Now it loses something in that. I think that I'm going to go with this and then see if I can just add some more stuff, maybe around it, maybe some ribbon or something. But let's see in theory if this works. Well, oh look, okay, that threaded easy. Don't get too excited, T. That was way too easy. Okay, because if I need to change this up, I can always just cut this. Not a big deal. Tying it up. Tying it up, and I'll go ahead and trim these strings. Look at that. And then because it's got that elastic, I can move it like to the middle. I can move it up a little bit, kind of like that, like right in the center right there. Yes. Okay. How pretty is that? All right. So I am going to finish putting my cards. I still have tons of them, working them into my journal. Some of them I have already done, and then others are off to the side, waiting to be put into the journal. Look, there's no rhyme or reason. Some of these I put out, and some of them I put in, whatever. But anyhow, I will finish putting my cards in. Oh, okay, this one. I was thinking of making this one actually kind of maybe a little tuck spot, because I wanted to keep the little message in here. And I thought if I did this, because of the way the corner is cut, that I might be able to tuck something else in here if I just glued it on these two sides. What do you think? I might try that. So anyhow, I will ink up my edges of my little guys here. I will put them down, and I will finish gluing my cards into my journal, and then I'll do a flip through. So for now, this is it on part 2, and next time you see me in part 3, we'll do a flip through of the finished journal, and you'll get to see all of the final details. I will see you later. Bye.